what's up? What is happening? Welcome to Bharat 91, the Indian Founder Stories podcast with Ashish Satpathy, where we bring you exciting stories of various entrepreneurs in India, the how, the why, the when, and the where from the founders themselves. Today we have Mr. Syed Faizan, the founder of Baker's Talent. Today's episode is sponsored by EasyCart. Start selling online today with your e-commerce store and a free Android app. Offer valid for a limited amount of time, so grab your offer as soon as possible.
So, hi to all the listeners who are going to listen to this, and thank you for interviewing me. I hope this thing turns out to be a good one. So basically, we are known as Baker's Talent. So this is a venture that was started like about 4 years back, and we started off with B2B, where we used to just supply to a lot of star properties and the other bakeries who couldn't bake them. So we were manufacturing behalf of them. That's how this thing started. And,
now you before you actually used to supply to these places, like let's say they wanted a particular cheesecake and everything had to be supplied by you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we used to work on recipe models. So any good brand, for example, we used to supply to a brand called it's a very famous brand from London. It's called Millie Cookies.
Okay.
So such brands, they always give us a recipe. We have to follow the model. And they also look at, hygiene and other perspective that we can, probably fulfill as per their standards, being a big brand, of course. So, we have to just follow their recipes at times. Other people, they would like what we do and, procure the same products and keep it on the shelf. So we had various things, and, B2B is kind of a business where, you keep changing terms and tracks. So,
but like it's kind of dull because it's always on their terms, right? Because I am taking things from you, so let's just stick to this particular thing. You don't get to like explore, right? That exploration part just kind of like dies right there.
Yeah, of course. See, basically, the thing is, you have to work on their terms. But not mostly, some people are there who have just started off and they're not able to find good chefs, and they have a shop, running. For example, you have a shop that is running.
Okay.
And in the end, you don't have a proper chef who can bake your items, but you have your rents and other overheads, and you still want to carry on forward with the business. So we come into picture, we save you from shutting down. So we supply you all the items that you require based on your positioning of wherever you are. It could be a good area with a good clientele. So as per what is the basic things that you need to keep in your shop. So all these things related to bakery, we can supply A to Z things because we are a manufacturing unit in the end. So that will be a one-shop stop for certain people. And for big brands, yes, of course, that's a one-side agreement that we have with them. So unless and until they want to change or, they want to explore some other manufacturing unit, so we have to be at their disposal,
Okay, now, that's kind of understandable, but I just wanted to know, how did this transition take place now, supplying from B2B and you wanted to open up your own thing, right? So how did that happen, and what is the process?
See, basically my partner, his name is Sahil, so he's a wonderful chef and as well as an entrepreneur. So he had this vision. So he's from a very small town from Bengal, and he came down to Mumbai. Okay. I don't know if you know, there was this academy called Moses, and it was a brand in itself. He is still a celebrity chef. Back in the days when it was like say 95, 96, that's when the hype was.
Okay.
So any celebrity in Mumbai, be it Bollywood or any local MLAs or anyone, they used to fancy buying products from this particular brand called Moses, and he and the owner itself was named as Moses.
Okay.
So this gentleman had a niche in the society when everyone, we also have learned about Iyengar bakeries and any other kind of local bakeries, but this person was the one to bring in the French taste into Indian culture. So for us, bakery was just patties, maybe mushroom or, veg patty and, plain bread and biscuits. But that's not all about bakery, Bakery
Exactly.
also has a lot of things which we haven't, still explored in Indian market. So he gotten a lot of desserts, he introduced them. And of course, people started traveling henceforth, and they also wanted to, explore things like this, and they wanted such availability in India because, of course, everyone who have traveled overseas and
Exactly, they want the same taste, kind of.
Yeah, they want something exclusive. They have the money to buy, but they don't have the product available in the market.
Exactly.
So this is where my partner was trained, and he has been into very good hands since. And when he traveled first to Bangalore after Moses, he was associated with the very famous brand called Smoor. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah.
So he was the
Smoor
one.
and Lavon, they're they've always been there.
Correct. So these are some renowned brands in Bangalore, of course. And since Smoor was also known as Bliss then, when it started its operations in Bangalore, so Sahil was with them, and he helped them, nurture the business and bring in the desserts, because that was the only brand in Bangalore to bring Kavacha chocolates, anything that has to do with pure chocolate and filled chocolate and desserts and all these, fancy stuff that is available in Paris or France, these kind of things were brought in. So he was associated with them, and not many bakeries were able to, bring this out and, flourish in the market. Of course, ups and downs are there. This thing doesn't work out everywhere,
Exactly.
The clientele
depends on the customers. Yeah.
Yes, very true. Today we see even Amma's Bakery is very famous today. Even though it doesn't have that
many varieties, it's probably because it's
a mass market,
cheap and exactly. It's cheap and you get good quality for your money. So probably that.
So people are so used to having cakes from Sweet Chariot or Amma's. So if you give them anything very good, also some people just don't seem to understand the difference.
Exactly.
So they would say, why do I have to pay that extra bucks to probably eat this dessert or eat this cake, which costs maybe about 1,500 to 2,000 a kilo, whereas he's getting a decent cake in about 600 rupees. Of course, anyone would have that question in mind, but it takes a lot of time for the transition to occur.
Exactly.
For people to get adjusted to the market, because they've been eating since 20 years the juicy syrupful cakes that Sweet Chariot has been feeding us. Even I, as a kid, I used to fancy eating, Sweet Chariot's very famous pineapple and Black Forest. That was all for us. We didn't know. Okay,
but I think now it's more people, they just want something that's fancy, that'll attract a lot of attention on Instagram if they post something, right? Something like if you cut the cake, the cream just flows, something like that, right. I guess.
Yeah. So you see, of course, these things come under customization. Custom cakes have been a part of every birthday. From the dates bakery has started. So with that, the trend has also changed. Maybe today the trend is pull me up cake. Tomorrow it will be something else. Otherwise you have to break with hammer. Yeah. So these things can be possibly achieved in this kind of this business, especially of the bakery business, which is why it is always trending. We have something new to do. So even if the trend changes, you still have that capability of coping up with the trend. Which a lot of businesses cannot do that. They have what do you call just the basic say you don't have too much of transition happening in the businesses. Just you just keep going.
Yeah, that's pretty much there. But okay, so I just wanted to ask you. Obviously, how did the online, taking up to the Instagram, and how is the online platform pretty much helping baking and helping your customers, helping your business to grow, basically?
We have recently entered the retail market. what I feel is today, even to be present in online, you also have to be present in retail.
Exactly.
So if I don't know the brand, if I have not seen the brand, so there is always a fact, you have to see, you have to feel, you have to know, and that's when you recognize a brand. So today we recognize something called Louis Vuitton because we have seen that in, we have seen them in, maybe TVs or, some fashion magazines and, things like that. But if that wasn't there, there is just an online market, we just don't get that kind of vibe, what that brand has created today. So
exactly,
both these things work hand in hand. So you need a very good retail market also, to conquer the online market is what I feel in my experience. I might be wrong also in that, but...
No, it's absolutely true. Because, let's say I'm a foodie and I love experimenting, I actually came across this fantastic place called Capella, where I actually met Shan. But it's got a really good vibe, and it was so underrated because I was tired of having cheesecakes from Art of Delight in Church Street, and I was like, okay, fine, let's just go to this place and see. And I was surprised by the quality of the cakes. I'm pretty sure I'm definitely going to try Baker's your cheesecakes, obviously. But that's the thing. It's like once you get that first impression, I guess that's everything is downhill. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Because that matters a lot. Once you have seen that in person, when you experience that, like for example, you went to Capella, you experienced the shop, you experienced the display their items, you get a different vibe towards it. And then when you order it from that store the next time online, you
already have an impression.
Yeah. So that clicks back into your brain. So that thing acts as a very important, it plays a very important role in creating brand awareness is what I feel. So yeah, of course we have a little bit of online presence starting off now, and of course with the times like COVID and the pandemic being present, it's our bad luck that we started at the same time.
No. I think it's like we always entrepreneurs basically it's one fact that we take it everything as a strength, right? So any scenario that we are into, we have to take it as a strength, and this is pretty good though. Like for the online business, people are stuck and they really want to celebrate and have fun. They can order something, but then again, like you said, going to the restaurant, going to the place and having it over there, that's different. That is something that you can't replace by online orders or anything like that, right?
Correct.
So, yeah. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, correct. So we are really happy also at the same time because we are able to survive this kind of situation, where even big brands couldn't take the hit. And, so surviving this, pandemic was a big task. And also we have enjoyed, getting through the tough times. And hopefully we see sunshine very soon.
Absolutely.
Not only us, including the whole of humanity that has been in this distress.
It's terrifying to see that we are going through something like this, which is absolutely unexpected. Very, very, nobody very expected this, and wearing a mask is basically a part of your outfit. That is something that is it's like there's something missing if you don't wear a mask. Yeah. But anyway, so two questions real quick. First thing, I just want you to talk about, tell the entrepreneurs who are listening right now to this podcast, anything that you want to talk about, anything that can keep, any motivational talks, anything that has kept you going. What is your mantra? What is basically your progress secret? And secondly, please do guide us quickly through how we can reach out to you and order freshly baked, I would say cheesecakes because I love cheesecakes from Baker's Palette. So yeah, please do go ahead.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say there is a secret to success over here. It's basically whatever it is a human wants to achieve in his life, he has to have passion towards it. And without that, I feel, somewhere, even if he is going to achieve success in any business, irrespective of, what they are doing, he might achieve a lot of laurels respect, money, and everything might follow. But if he doesn't have that, that passion towards it, so I feel, somewhere you feel it's not your cup of tea, it's not making you that real happy, and this is not what you all wanted, because that's how you feel. And I feel for a very successful brand to be created or anything that you want to do in life, you need that passion, you have to work for it, because it doesn't come easy, like they say, it's real that there are no free lunches in this world. And
exactly.
You have to work hard. There is no other, secret. There is no other shortcut apart from working hard. If there is no hard work, I feel, somewhere you are going to break down. There is a definite breakdown. Maybe, there are slight chances like, someone just, misses that breakdown and, they flourish. But, doesn't work out with every individual.
Exactly.
So it's a hard, bitter truth, but hard work is all to
exactly.
it. Be it whatever they are doing in their respective field.
Absolutely.
Is what I feel. Yeah. And so coming to the second question, we are accessible in all the major platforms, be it Amazon, be it Dunzo, be it Swiggy, be Zomato. We have our own website that is created. We haven't still started the checkout process on our website. We are still, under construction of it. But yeah, of course, it's visible to the viewers. So hopefully by the end of this month, we are going to be live on our own website too.
Lovely.
We also do, cater in two parts of Bangalore right now. That's in Richmond as well as JP Nagar.
Okay.
And, so these places we are of course present with the local delivery as well as, the aggregators that help us to deliver like Swiggy, Zomato and the other respective brands which are in the market. So so hopefully we are trying to grow through other places as well. Like, how could we possibly cater the whole of Bangalore, being in JP Nagar or anywhere that we're present for now. So hopefully that'll happen soon through our website. Yeah.
Done. It was lovely listening to you speak about your the process, the whole thing. That Baker's Talent is not only about like fancy cheesecake. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of things to actually put it to work and deliver it out there. But it was fantastic, sir. Absolutely inspirational, and huge success to you. It was great talking to you, sir, and I hope we could do this some other time. And I'm definitely trying Baker's Talent very soon, and I will highly recommend this to my friends. And okay, thank you so much for coming up on air. It was great.
Most welcome. Thank you.
And that is it for today, folks. Do give it a like, share, and subscribe if you really like the content that we share here on the podcast. This is Bharat 91, the Indian Founder Stories podcast, brought to you by Easy Cut. So see you soon. Stay tuned. Until then, stay safe and take care.